I loaded in all of my Supernote files into Obsidian, and then slowly over time, I've been going back and cleaning those up when I have time. So it's something, they exist on the Supernote, they live there, they're in real time recognition, and I have time. I've spent more time creating my structure, creating my file system, my folder system, kind of moving people where they need to be. And that's why my map of contents is so important for me. And it's changed a few times. You're not just replicating what you've done, you're also thinking through, how can I do this? How can this be a more effective way for me to think through how things should be organized? Originally, I had a separate note for each department, and then that was going to be my departmental map of contents. And it was like, okay, do I really need to do that? And I ended up going back to that structure. So sometimes it's trial and error. But what I didn't do is I had basically a biology faculty note, and that didn't make any sense. So what I did was I created a contacts folder. And then in my map of contents, I created a link to a biology map of contents. And then under that, using this menu structure, and we'll go back here, no, wrong one. We'll go back to the map of contents. Then what I would do, I'll show you this in real time. So let's say university leadership is what we want here. And we've rethought this. And we're like, well, you know what? University leadership is more than just one meeting. And quite frankly, I always put dates with my meetings. So now what I do is, instead of this, I would put in a template. And you can turn any note into a template, by the way. And so right now we're going to say that this is a school or department template. That isn't 100% accurate. You would probably custom create a template for this. But you could say here, there would be leadership because it's a committee. There would probably not be staff, so you would get that out. You would leave faculty. So let's say that our faculty are Sue Smith and Joe Smith. Hit enter. Both of those are there. And let's say, and this is where it gets really neat, so those of you who are brand new, pay attention to this component. Let's say that I'm joining this committee. And I close bracket. Now what you'll notice here, which is really cool, I'm not underlined. So I'm telegraphing a note. I'm basically saying that I'm going to add a new contact here, but I don't have time right now to put that information in. I don't have time to go through and actually create that new contact, but I can go back later and I can enter that information. It's really awesome. Let's say that Susie is the chair of this committee. She exists twice on this particular note, but what she doesn't do is it doesn't really replicate information, but it allows you to have her in both places. Let's say later the leadership changes. I don't want to have to go back and redo a ton of things. All I do is flip out who's on it, or if people move. And I can also do down here with, let's do a new heading, which is pound signs and space, and we'll say former members. Now that's just a parking lot for now. It's not anything that I'm going to use, but I could always move someone right down to that former member space and then allow them here as well. Now, if I go here, I've now activated this note. And when I go back to my template, I can do a contact template. It's someone internal, so it's an institutional contact. And then I can put in my title. Now, when you go back, wow, look at the graph. It's already started to move. And again, I don't use the graph. I use it mostly to look at connections